All right, we're live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Up Church's Metaphysical Bible Hangout. I am Reverend Sherri James, Senior Minister for Up Church in, well, I guess Inglewood, California. Sometimes I say Los Angeles, but Inglewood, California. And tonight we are finishing a four-part series based on Edwene Gaines's The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And I am very excited to share this book with you. I think what I'm going to do, just because sometimes there is a stutter, is I'm going to leave the PowerPoint up. Hey, Eves. I see Eves is there. Happy 2018. We are on part 4 and 2 of the chapters, The Importance of Commitment and what is this one? Finding your divine purpose. The importance of commitment and finding your divine purpose. So this will be a good conversation tonight. All right, let me pull the PowerPoint. Bear with me. Okay, great. So the question we want to ask tonight is, do you ever ask, why am I here? Do you ever ask, why am I here? And I certainly have asked that question before in my lifetime, most recently today. So we're talking about the fourth law, divine purpose. I've got a few announcements, opening prayer. We're going to talk about the thing about divine purpose. We're going to talk about your purpose, which requires commitment. We're going to look at questions to find your divine purpose, which she has in the chapter, and then just a Q&A. And let's go. So know your why. So, today was one of those really interesting days for life. You just never know what life is going to give you. And so I got an opportunity to reaffirm my why. And because, there are times when you want the roller coaster of life to stop, and it has decided, no, I am not stopping. I will keep going, and this ride is not done. And that's it. And so you got to know why you're doing what you're doing, because if you don't know why, it's easy to get distracted or stopped. And my why is that I'm really deeply interested in depositing a single idea. Several years ago now, about 20 to be exact, 1998, I heard a woman, Mary Tompkins, speak. And what she said changed me at my core and shifted me entirely. And several things were said. I mean, this is an incredible sermon. I need to go back in the archives and get a copy of it. But the one thing for sure that stayed with me is that my good comes to me because my good comes from me. So I'm not looking outside myself for my good. My good resides within me. And that single idea germinated in my mind and has just given birth to the most amazing life imaginable. And so I'm interested in doing the same thing. And I love the movie Inception. I use it as a metaphor for what the Bible Hangout is about, which is about depositing that single idea that once accepted in the mind shifts everything. If there's one thing I want you to get, it's that you are a divine being. You are not simply human, that there is the non-human part of you, and that is the most important part of you. And if you really latch on to that, oh, life will take off. And so my intent is to deposit that idea in your mind. The Bible Hangout is free, but it does cost to produce it. And if this is a blessing to you, would you consider being a blessing to help us continue to spread this word? And a gift of any size is greatly appreciated. You can do that right at revsherry.com. And I thank you in advance for your support and your faith in the work that we are doing here with the Bible Hangout. I do want you to know that I am a spiritual mentor and I am available to work with you. And so if you are interested in going to the next level in your life, then let's do some work together. Give me a call, shoot me an email. Let me help you become the person whose dreams come true. Let's get started. And I know that you will be blessed by the work that we would do together. This series, there's the Bible Hangout, there's the blog, and it's the way that it works. Those are the two things that are part of it. But it's time to choose a new series. We're at the end of this book, and so before we wrap tonight, I want to talk about where we want to go next. So if there are specific places that you want to go next in terms of studying, go ahead and put that in the chat. If there's a particular text, if there's a Bible text, if you guys want to kind of dig into the parables or dig into the Psalms or the Proverbs, or maybe look at the prophets, or maybe go visit the works of Jesus, or if there's a particular text, let me know so that I can begin to prepare for that for next week. The scripture for this series is, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill." And the scripture is Matthew 5:17. And let's just take a moment to relax, just to give thanks, because we know that something amazing is going to happen here tonight, and we are opening ourselves for it. Whatever you have for us, God, we are here for it right now. And we just relax and allow the presence and power of God to work its magic through us. We know that we are being transformed at our core, and we are open to where the Spirit wants to take us. Thank you, God, for life. Thank you for love. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for power. Thank you for substance that is embodying us right now. We accept the blessing that this evening is going to be, and we give thanks for the change that's going to happen in us, and we are ready for the next level. In the name and nature of Jesus, we affirm that it is so, and so it is, and amen. So the thing about divine purpose, one of the things that I want you to really grab onto this evening is that purpose starts with commitment. Purpose starts with commitment. And this quote is from Angela Duckworth, who wrote Grit. She said, "To get really good at anything requires sustained interest and commitment, plus dedication to incremental improvement and the capacity to weather failure and setbacks." Let that sink in. To get really good at anything requires sustained interest and commitment, plus dedication to incremental improvement and the capacity to weather failure and setbacks. The reason this quote was so important to me is because when you begin to get better at something, to get really good at something, to say that I'm going to become a master in this area, one of the things that has to happen is that you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it long enough for it to do something. So I'm interested in being a master teacher, and I think I'm a good teacher. I think on some levels I think I'm a great teacher, but I know that there are more levels to touch as a teacher. And so in order to get great at anything, you've got to stick with it. And there's a point at which I won't say that it gets boring, because that's not really it. But it's that it becomes monotonous. And so the challenge is that it has to be anchored to something greater than the moment in order for you to stick with it. And the thing is that each time you get just a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, but it's so incremental. Sometimes it's like a fraction better, not like a giant quantum leap, right? If you look back at some of the early Bible Hangouts, they're completely different from what they look like today. But but in the moment, it was, from one week to the next, it was incremental, just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, right? And then over time, it begins to expand. I know for sure when I started the Bible Hangout, I didn't have a morning practice, but in that process, I began to establish that. As I began to study and work at, okay, what would keep my cup filled? I realized, girl, you got to do something in the morning. You got to anchor yourself, right? And so it's that same process and this is why you have to have a purpose, because you can't have a purpose without committing to something, right? That purpose starts with commitment. And so I want that really to land, because the fractional pace at which you get better will wear you out if it's not anchored to a divine purpose. The fractional pace at which you get better will wear you out. You'll get tired. You'll get bored. You'll have shiny object syndrome. Something else will catch your attention and you will move on. You see this in marriages. If you don't have a divine purpose, if you don't have something larger pulling you through, then anything can catch your attention and draw you out of, emotionally, draw you out of the marriage. You have to have a purpose that pulls you in deeper and keeps you dialed into the day to day. With your health, listen, I can tell you, things will come up. You will eat the thing that you said you were never going to eat, or the health setback, or you'll wake up and just not be in your best mood or your best feeling. And so you've got to have a purpose beyond the moment, right? So you got to commit to something greater than the present moment if you want to achieve that mastery that's available to you, that to get really good at something. So no purpose without commitment. The path to purpose begins with commitment. Now I want to talk about what commitment is, because I think we throw this world around and we say, "Oh, I'm committed to this." This is a quote from Edwin. The only surefire way to know whether you've made a commitment is when there's no turning back. And the only way out is through, all the way to the other side, because if there's a side way out, that's not a commitment. Hear that. Life has so many distractions. You got to have something bigger than your present circumstance to keep you focused toward a particular end. Things will come up that seem important. And these distractions, they might be important. It might be something that really needs your attention. They might even require you to stop for a moment and give some of your attention to them before you can continue going forward. And then stopping, you lose your momentum. So you have to have a clear divine purpose that helps you reestablish your path after you've been stopped. But you can't do that if you haven't made a commitment. You can't do that if you haven't made a commitment. Anything can grab your attention, and then you're out the way. If there's a side way out, that's not a commitment. Now, the other part of that is that you need to commit to prosper. One of the hardest things to do as a spiritual entrepreneur is to commit to a better future when you're going through a storm. When life presses in on you, it can be hard to look beyond just wanting relief from your present circumstances. What Edwin Gaines advises us to do is to move beyond a commitment to survive into a commitment to prosper. And then beyond that, we've got to make a commitment to make this a better world. Sometimes when we're in the midst of something, so you may be dealing with a family situation, right? And it's got your full attention, right? It's the thing that feels most pressing right now, and it seems that if I take my attention off of this, everything is going to fall apart. This is really depending on me showing up. We have to resist the temptation to recoil when life hands us a setback. Even in our darkest moments, we have to open a window to the divine to look out onto a future that includes a better world for ourselves and for everyone else. If you're going to walk in your divine purpose, it requires us to do so. So I don't want to just survive. I'm committing to prosper. I'm not just surviving. I'm committing to prosper. And this is really tough. And I know this from just personal experience where I've been in what I would call my own dark night of the soul. And it's been really hard to look beyond, let me just get past this moment. But the thing is that the energy of God, all this is about energy management, right? The energy of God requires us to set the course. It doesn't move until we say where to move to. It, God tells us where to go, but then we have to say yes to the direction. And if we don't say yes to the direction, it doesn't go anywhere. So we have to be active participants. And when we recoil from a life setback and we're just in this moment, it's like, you know what, I just have to deal with just the day to day, then that energy can't go out ahead of us. So there always has to be a space in our lives where we are opening up to a brighter future than the moment that we're living right now. And we have to keep that window open even when we're in that darkest space. And I know how hard that is. I can't overstate how much I understand how difficult that is. But again, we're stepping up to be the spiritual giants that we were designed to be. We're stepping up to do more, to be more, to have more. And if we're going to be, do, and have more than we've had before, then there has to be a space in our hearts and our minds that reaches out beyond where we are and holds the door open for a brighter future. We have to hold the door open for a brighter future. That's our requirement. Will it be easy? No, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. We got to be bold in our commitment. Now, this is about how you speak. And I love the story that she tells in the book. There is a woman, and I've heard her tell this story I've heard her tell this story in a seminar about wanting to see Halley's Comet. Okay, what's going on, baby? My water bottle. Okay, I can't give it to you right now. Take mine. Sorry, I have baby duty tonight. She tells the story of this woman, Mildred, and I think this is powerful. This is on page 160. She said, the story of Mildred is one that I'm not sure I would have believed if I hadn't witnessed it myself. It's a story about a woman who taught me what a true prosperity commitment is really all about. Back in the mid-'80s, she tells a story about this woman, Mildred. She said the Halley's Comet was coming. It only came every 70 years, and that's why Mildred decided that she wanted to see Halley's Comet. And so she was figuring it out. She was going to the South Pacific, and she was like, okay, and I got to sell 18 berths in order to have a first class ticket for myself. And so she puts together a brochure for her success seminar at sea. She starts to announce her workshop, and there is this woman who comes and hands her a folded check. And she says, I'm going to go on the cruise with you. Here's my deposit. Wonderful. We're going to have a great time. I set the check aside. Later that day, I looked at it to make sure she'd included a telephone number so that I could contact her. But when I looked at the check, I saw that it wasn't made out for $1,000, which was the deposit that was needed. It was made out for $10. She said, maybe I wasn't clear. I thought. I went and found Mildred, and she said, please forgive me. I don't think I communicated very clearly. In order to hold your space, I needed a deposit of $1,000. And she said, oh, I heard you, honey. I don't have $1,000 right now, but I'm going on that cruise, so keep my check. I didn't want to rain on her parade, so I let it drop. Well, over the next few weeks, small checks from Mildred started drifting in. One came in for $3.95. 2 or 3 days later, one for $4.50. Then I got one for $7.95, and then I got a really big one for $12.50. By the deadline, I had my 18 people enrolled, and Mildred had given her about $97. I really prayed about calling her. I wanted to break it to her very gently that she wouldn't be coming on the cruise. I wanted to make sure she was empowered and not diminished by the experience. So I called her and I said, Mildred, my trip is now full, so I'm going to return your $97. And I just know that the next time we have an opportunity to have an adventure together, that it's going to work out perfectly and we'll have a great time. Oh, no, you don't. You keep my deposit. I'm going on that cruise. Well, at this point, I began to wonder what I was dealing with. I was starting to think that Mildred might be a few sandwiches shy of a full picnic. So I began to speak very slowly and clearly. I don't want to be rude, but I don't think you understand exactly what I'm saying. I want to be real clear so that you understand me. The cost of the cruise is $3,000. What I need from you is complete payment of $3,000. But at this point, even that would be no good because the trip is full. I wouldn't have room for you anyway, so I'm going to return your $97. I'm really sorry. Dearie Pie, I understand perfectly. The problem we're having here is not that I'm not understanding you, it's that you're not understanding me. I am going on that cruise. Well, I didn't know what to do, so I took the coward's way out. Instead of arguing with her anymore, I just said, okay, we'll pray about it and hung up. I thought I'd just send her money back after I returned from the trip. She gets ready for the trip, and she gets a call from a very wealthy woman in Birmingham who was one of the first people enrolled to go on the cruise. At Wing, she told me, I'm in a real pickle. We have a family court case that's come up, and I simply have to be there. I've tried everything I can to get the judge to postpone it for 1 week so that I can go on the trip, but he won't do it. Now, I've gone on enough cruises in my life to know that it's much too late for me to get a refund. Do you know anyone who would like to go in my place? I could not believe what I was hearing. I could hardly wait to call Mildred and give her the news. I got her on the phone and I said, you're simply not going to believe what I am about to tell you. Oh, there's no need to tell me, honey. My bags are already packed and waiting by the front door. There is, when you decide, I'm committed to whatever it is that I say I want. I have every expectation. I'm not moved by setbacks, that I have decided that I am a part of some experience. You can have that level of certainty in your experience, but you've got to seek it. And I love that story of Mildred. I've heard her tell it in live seminars, and it's an amazing story. But it just lets you know that everything you say out inwardly and outwardly has to reflect that which you are committed to. And this woman, Mildred, was committed to going on that cruise. She knew that she was supposed to be on that cruise. So this is my charge to you, to be just as bold, because your spoken word goes to the ends of the universe and is returned to you, and it doesn't return to you empty. It comes back bearing gifts according to the energy behind it. Now, this I thought was really interesting, but when I sat with it, I really understood it, which is that your biggest commitment will be to yourself. Your biggest commitment will be to yourself. And I thought this was powerful when she talks about committing to do something special for yourself every day. And you got to be clear about what that is. You got to do things that bring you joy because they make you a better conduit for the flow of spirit. Baby, stop. Stop. As you engage that pleasure and feed you, you're going to find that you have so much more to give. The thing is that when we deny ourselves thinking that restriction of pleasure and good will net us a better result, you've got to learn how to take better care or good care of yourself. Do what you need to do in order to make yourself feel whole, safe, complete, and good. The most important commitment you will make will be made to yourself and to your own well-being. And remember this point in, because sometimes we going without is going. No, that's not going to go. All right. Sometimes we have this idea that restricting ourselves. Can you be quiet? Okay. Sometimes we have this idea that is going to. It's almost like we're punishing ourselves. But the thing is that the happier you are, the more conduit you are for the flow of spirit. And it seems to be conduits flow of God. There is a Blake that says is in love with the creations of time. And it that the when we are the will of God. Our joy, we're in joy. When we're in that space, we are for the flow of God in, through, and as us. We are available to spirit. We make ourselves the most open vessel possible for God. We make ourselves the most open for God. And so that being in that space of not tonight. Give me just 1 second, okay? Fine. Okay. All right, y'all. This is the reality of this evening. So, in that space of joy, we make ourselves available to God. And so we have to make a point to do that which brings us joy. And sometimes we don't even know what brings us joy. So we've got to take the time to find out what that is. She lists some things that are there that to help us to do that. Uh, sneeze. Okay. But she talks about she gives us 2 weeks of self-care and integrity. And she talks about striving for order, that when you establish order in your environment, that it calms you down. Order relaxes the mind. She talks about taking time for solitude, that you have to have that space where it's just you. She also talks about this on page 184 to create beauty. That beauty this is one of the Captain Ponder quote, but she talks about beauty is one of our success powers. That it awakens something in us. It encourages us to play life full out. She talks about giving yourself a treat. That the universe will only treat you as well as you treat yourself. So be especially good to yourself. She says, tell the truth. Live and speak from a sense of authenticity. Make it a habit not to hedge the truth or to speak in half truths. Be someone that others can trust will tell the truth about who you are and what you feel, because when you tell your truth with love, you empower others to live from truth as well. Laugh. That laughter is amazing. Let that out. Find things out. One of the things I do at night is I usually look up funny videos. And I won't say cat videos because they don't have to be cats, but looking up funny videos that keep you in a space of joy. Remain calm. Stay in that space of peace. Acknowledge others. People want to be seen. People want to be seen and they want to be acknowledged. They want to know that they have been thought about. Open your heart. Try to make a habit to allow everyone inside your heart space. Pay attention and notice when you find yourself feeling dislike towards someone. Feed your spirit. Now, this is something I believe in just as an everyday practice, that you have to have something that feeds your spirit on a daily basis, that it fulfills you, it gives you strength, it gives you something that you can stand on. Welcome change. Sometimes, we want everything to stay the same, but nothing stays the same. If there's anything that's perpetual, it's change. The only thing that stays the same is God. And so when we allow that change, and we embrace the change, that it allows the joy in us to come through. And then let go. You have the authority to release from your life all those people, situations, relationships, objects, thoughts, emotions, and concerns that don't empower you. As a being that's growing that which no longer enriches your life. So important. And then do something new. When you do something new, you have no idea where life will take you. And it's just that one small step that will open up a whole new set of possibilities. Find a way to do something new every day. It's when we get into the monotony of our day that our lives begin to shut down. And we have the responsibility to open them back up. And then finally expressing that gratitude for God, or expressing gratitude to God. That gratefulness increases the good that's in our experience. It makes us feel good and it opens us up for more good. It actually creates the sense of expectancy in us for more good. Make up your purpose. You know, a lot of people this idea from on high, and I guess you can have that kind of feeling. But the truth is, you still have to say yes to it. Your goals have finite deadlines, but your divine purpose is something that you will be working on for the rest of your life. There are many, many problems in our world that need our attention. The question is, what's the one problem that you want to address? What's the one problem that you would have fun addressing? Are you willing to devote your energy, your time, your talent, your skills, your money to transforming this area of the world? And if you find, then make solving that problem your purpose. When you choose, this is a quote from Edwin, when you choose your divine, you frame your life with meaning. What you're saying is, this is what I want to stand for. When they talk about my life, I want this area to be the subject of conversation. What do you stand for? What is life about? About health. Is it, we made where she made the decision that I want to transform the abundance consciousness of the world, and then set out on that path. And I communicated with her because I'm working on an interview with her that I'll let you guys know about. But I sent her a message because I heard her speak in the early 2000s, maybe late 1990s, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I heard her say that my purpose is the abundance consciousness of the world. And so when I asked her to let her know that we were studying her book for the Bible Hangout, I said, I want you to know that your purpose is being fulfilled because what you have said has touched me. And so you are absolutely living and walking in your purpose, and you are absolutely transforming the abundance consciousness of the world, because the work that you did had an indelible impact on me. And now I'm out going and sharing what I learned from you. And it felt so good to give that back to her, to let her know that, and I'm sure I'm one of many people that are telling her that, but just to let her know that what you set out for your purpose is being fulfilled, and that work is being done. You make it up. I know we want the tablets from on high. We want to go up to Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb and get the tablets. But I'm going to suggest that that's not quite how it works, and that it's really going to be, what do you care about? What gets your attention? Do you care about women's rights? Do you care about men's rights? Do you care about trafficking? There's a lot of sex trafficking that happens with our young children. You care about education. You care about police brutality. What really gets your attention? What is the thing that's most important to you? You gotta be quiet, okay? Okay? You gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet. I know, I can't. You can have mine.
But down mine just downstairs.
I can't get it right now.
But downstairs.
Remember, you're not supposed to interrupt me? You forgot. Okay. So, what gets your attention? What is the most important thing to you? And what are you willing to spend your time, your attention, your energy solving? That's your purpose. That's your purpose. That's your purpose. Come on. Sit with me. Fulfilling your divine purpose brings joy. You are your when you feel joy. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You are your strongest when you feel, as she frames it, she talks about joy being your inner guidance system. Like, how do you know you're walking in your purpose? Because you have a sense of joy that fills you. Because in that joyful state, what happens is that we give our best. When you feel that joy, it's like you are playing full out. I was watching an interview with Michael Jordan. But what moved him so much and what drove him so much was he just loved the game. He loved the game, and it was just so much a part of just who he was. What do you love like that? Because when you're in that joyful state, we play life full out, right? And that's that inner guidance. That it's not our purpose is not the mystery that we make it out to be. It gives you that level of joy. You know, she brought up making dollhouse. You know, it doesn't something that's so serious like curing cancer, right? It doesn't have to be curing, metabolic disease or, childhood obesity. It doesn't have to be this like heavy thing unless that brings you joy, your attention, your energy into it. It could be something that is very, you know, Tiffany Haddish. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she was the breakout star from Girls Trip, Girls Trip. And one of the things that I thought was so powerful is that she talked about all the horrible things that she had been through in her life. If I could make people laugh, and if I could help other people laugh, it would be a way to forget about all of the things that are not going, and especially all the things that have not gone right in my world. And and so you can make bring you the most fun because that's where your joy is. I know for me, for sure, teaching fulfills that. That uh, no matter what, no matter how life has turned around or turned upside down, I know that if I start teaching, that I feel better in my spirit, that I'm in that joy state. Thing delightful for me in sharing with other people and especially in this kind of, I mean, I really could teach anything, but this particular subject of spiritual principle I love the most. What is that for you? What gives you that? That's where your purpose lies. It lies in that space of joy, that thing that you do that you would do no matter what. And then finally, these are questions, and you may want to take out a sheet of paper and just kind of think about some of these questions. What one issue seems most important to you? And these are directly from the text. These questions are located on page 192 and 193. What one issue seems most important and perfect solution to this challenge? Can you visualize it? See it clearly in your mind's eye? Can you write a description of life if the transformative work was complete and perfect? It's like walk to the end of you living your divine purpose. What does it look like? When Edwene said, I want to transform the abundance consciousness of the world. Well, what does that look like? What do you need to know, have, be in order to begin? I'm a firm believer that it doesn't have to be something that you may have done up to this point. Been yearning in your soul to do it. So it's just to get started. Maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe there's some books that you need to read. Maybe there's some experts that you need to study with, or maybe you just need to learn the realities of the problem from those who've gone before. Maybe this is something, you're not the first person to walk this path. Is it time to do the research, the investigation, and the questioning? What is my first step? And how soon am I going to take it? Am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to do what it takes? And then will I commit to staying the course, working in integrity, and standing alone in my mission if necessary? I can tell you with clarity, there will come that point when it is just you. There will be no crowd, uh, applause, no acknowledgement. And can you stay the course through that? When you feel like somebody ought to be living here and nobody is noticing what's happening. Can That's how you know it's your purpose. I thought it was so powerful. An article that came out today. So they released the Oscar nominations, and one of the biggest movies for 2017 was Wonder Woman. It was an amazing feat on so many levels. Woman-led, woman-directed film, um, making over $200 million at the box office. It was absolutely, it hit all kinds of amazing records. It's just amazing. And so it was expected that at least in the technical area that would get some type of recognition, even if it was a nod just to the cinematographer, or a nomination for the director, or a nomination for the screenwriter, or because a film makes that level of money and has that type of cultural impact, you would expect to see it acknowledged by the Academy, and it didn't receive anything. And so they interviewed maybe it's Gal Gadot, who is the star of the film, and she very graciously said, so many wonderful films, and the thing is that we didn't make the movie with the intent of trying to get an Academy Award nomination. And the beautiful thing is that we get an opportunity to make another movie, meaning the sequel to Wonder Woman. And so maybe that time, there'll be a nomination. But it's that I'm not doing what I'm doing because I need recognition. I'm doing what I'm doing because I love what I do. And whether I'm paid for it, whether I'm acknowledged for it, it's what's most important to me. And that's how you know you're in your purpose. And so the question is there anyone that's still working with purpose? Or what is your purpose? I put that question out to you. What is here? Why are you here? I promise you that's not a rhetorical question. I actually want to know what y'all think here. One thing that you do no matter what. That one thing. And listen, you may have multiple purposes, a purpose in your friendships. You've got to have a purpose in regards to your children. But I'm talking about that purpose in terms of like your contribution to the planet. Alita says, what do you mean, Alita? And you tell me what you. And Yvonne, Andrea, same question for you guys. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Oh, she said the bandwidth is messing up. Okay. Um, but you can type it in the chat. I'll read it back. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Just achieve the same. Good. I like that. In any particular area, Andrea? Alita says it's mostly service. hmm And service how, Alita? In terms of your family, in terms of church, in terms of volunteering with a particular organization? Oh, she said, so that's why I say it changes. Okay, so it's just service across the board. Got it. Anybody else? My spirituality, Andrea says, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I would say that's it. That's certainly it for me. That I am deeply interested and vested in releasing everything in me that's meant to come out. And I mean books, businesses, I mean, you name it. I'm, I am deeply interested in that. And I'm interested in seeing how much I can transform myself. Like who I have to become, and then sharing that with other people, in hopes of inspiring them to do the same. I talk about the Fifth Symphony, and if God can come through Beethoven symphony, then change can come through. I don't mean music specifically, but I mean lavish, opulent abundance. In fact, there's an affirmation end of the book, and I thought it was just a powerful affirmation. Um, and I was going to put it on a card to read to myself. Uh-oh. Oh, where's that affirmation? It's on page 212. It says large, rich, opulent, lavish, financial surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. And I feel that way, not just in terms of financial good, but like good in all forms, in terms of health, in terms of happiness, in terms of relationships, that large, rich, opulent, lavish financial surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. Large, rich, opulent, lavish relational surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. Large, rich, opulent, lavish health surprises now come to me, and I am grateful. It's just that on every level, life just opens itself up, and I welcome it to come in. Oneness with God. Yes, 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 yes. I want a deeper awareness of my oneness. So, what is your divine purpose? What do you want your life to be about? What is worthy of all your time, attention, resources, creativity, and ingenuity? That's really it. What's worthy of that? What's worthy of you losing sleep over? That's it. What's worthy of that? And if this webinar helps you, please subscribe and share with a friend. So here's my question for you guys, because we are at the end of tonight. Oh, I love that. Alita says, I am a magnet for passive income. Yes, that is my thing. Passive income, passive income, passive income. Let me master that. Yvonne says, share the beauty of art as a form of healing. Yes, art absolutely heals. 100% heals. There are some things that you can look and they warm your spirit. They warm your spirit. So we have a couple in Ray says Proverbs is something he wanted to tackle. I also saw Yvonne mention As a Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh actually be pretty good. um, because they did a whole movie about it, and I got to be in the movie. Yay! Um, but you guys tell me. Another book that's excellent, and the reason I'm even bringing this up is because we're getting ready to do this for Lent. And this book is phenomenal because she helps you establish a daily practice. Now, you guys have heard me talk about a daily practice, a daily practice. What I love about this is that this is not just a morning routine, but it's a routine throughout the day. And one of the things that I have been working on, let's see if I can find the card immediately. I have been working on my evening habit stack. My evening habit stack. And I'll tell you what I do for my evening. So my morning routine is pretty clear. Um, it's been the same, and it gives me power, and I go with it. So what I do in the mornings, I have about 8 or 9 things that I do. No, I don't. I have about 7 or 8 things that I do. I have a daily meditation. I have what I call my mental rehearsal, which is my visualization. I have my prosperity conditioning, my gratitude. I get in the mirror with my morning commercial and my daily reading. So those 6 things. So that's the morning, and that generally takes me about 45 minutes. So the evening, I created a half-hour evening habit stack because what I want to do is I'm programming the morning, I'm programming the evening, and I want it so automatic that it anchors me, right? It becomes, it kind of bookends the day. And the morning routine, I have spent years trying to establish that, and it's now rock solid. So even if sometimes I get off track when I go out of town, like when I went to Punta Cana, I got sick while I was down there, so I got off track. But because it's so much a part of who I am, and because I understand what's happening to me in terms of my developing myself on a daily basis, it took nothing that, as soon as I got back home, I was back on it. So now what I'm doing is I'm establishing the evening habit stack instead of just kind of passing out and going to bed. So I have a devotional. I write down what I learned today. I would find 3 things that I learned today. What made today great? I do 3 things that made today great. A daily forgiveness. That's a subject we could say is forgiveness. You need to be doing forgiveness on a daily basis. I cannot stress that enough because you pick up stuff. It's just like forgiveness is like a bath for the soul, right? Just like you take a bath in the mornings or in the evening, whenever you take your bath or your shower to like just wash the day off of you or to prepare for the day. The forgiveness is the same thing. Is that there's stuff that just over the course of the day that just gets stuck to you, right? And so forgiveness just kind of releases that. And then there are things that are like buried beneath the surface that just need to be addressed through forgiveness. And so that's that. And then I write down one new dream. So I push myself to find one new thing that I'm going to add to my dream list every day. That is, again, just conditioning my mind to understand that I'm supposed to be bringing in lavish abundance. And so I write down one thing every day, and then I close the night with some type of like 10 minutes of reading, not that much, but just enough to say, okay, I've read. Like I'm feeding my mind. But what I love about this book is that she gives you a morning routine and an evening routine, and then she even has some like midday things. And it talks about wealth, and of course, she's going to deal with financial wealth, but this really applies to everything. So this is a possibility. Um, Alita says, my routine is always better at night. Mornings are a work in progress. Yeah. The reason I believe in the morning routine so much is because we think 40 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. By the time I've gotten to the evening, I've already programmed myself. I've already planted some kind of garden. So I try to let that morning be rock solid because I want to program those 40 to 60,000 thoughts. Eve says, I believe my purpose is to awaken spiritually and help others as well. That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so you guys tell me. So we said Proverbs. We said, as a man thinketh. I threw out the path to wealth. We could deal with Neville Goddard. What else is on this? Oh, this is a good one. This is something Galen turned me on to. The Eye of the Storm. Embracing conflict, creating peace. The eye of the storm. You know this one, Alita? The eye of the storm. So this is a good one. This is from Gary Simmons. Um, so this is about conflict resolution and peacemaking. And it says, in this book, we learn to go beyond merely managing the conflict in our lives to actually embracing the conflict, allowing it to teach us what we otherwise might not learn. This process leads to peacemaking, whether it be within ourselves, in our relationships, or as a result of outside circumstances. Oh, I love this. Simmons integrates spiritual principles, biblical quotes, and martial arts philosophy. He's a fourth degree black belt in Taekwondo, as well as concepts from modern science, especially quantum theory. In this way, he points us to the eye, letter I, of the storm of conflict, to our spiritual self as the means of realizing peace in our lives. Oh, Neville Goddard. Okay, so Neville Goddard. Oh, that's going to be a head trip, y'all. All right, so listen. I've got, this is my Neville reader. Oh, it's so many things with Neville. You gotta love this man. He's got Awakened Imagination, which is one of my favorites. He's got Your Faith is Your Fortune. Ray says yes to Neville. The Art of Believing. The art of, now listen, belief is everything. It is done unto you according to your belief. All right, y'all. What are we gonna do? Neville is always good. Yes, Neville is good. So, there's Awakened Imagination. Your Faith is Your Fortune. There's also something called Resurrection. In the Neville Reader, there's about 7 options. We could talk about Seed Time and Harvest, Out of This World, Freedom for All, Resurrection, Feeling is the Secret, Prayer, the Art of Believing, The Law and the Promise. Any one of those is good. Any one of those is just, I know. Oh, belief. Oh, Joe says belief. Listen, belief is everything. Belief, you cannot do what you do not believe. So we could focus on belief. We absolutely could focus on belief. That's actually a good one. So prayer, the art of believing. Let me see what that looks like. How many? That's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 chapters. That's like a 7-part series. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, prayer, the art of believing. Prayer, the art of believing. So let me put that in. Prayer, the art of believing. Sorry, y'all. Prayer, the art of believing by Neville Goddard. So the question is, can we go to YouTube? Not YouTube. Can we go to Amazon and find that? Let's see. Prayer.
Sherri?
Yes.
There's a website, and I'll send the link, but a lot of his stuff is transcribed online. If people, don't want to buy the book.
Okay. There's a Kindle version of Prayer, the Art of Believing for $1.24.
Okay.
So there's a Kindle version of Prayer, the Art of Believing for $1.24. And then there's a paperback version of it for like $17 or whatever, and another one.
And there's always
yeah, there's a few. So we can get it. We can get it. Okay. Amazon for $1.24. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. Prayer, the Art of Believing by Neville Goddard. I'm telling. Okay, so this is gonna be powerful. This is good. This is good. This is my dude right here, and this is who Reverend Ike studied. This was Reverend Ike's favorite teacher. Um, and I am fascinated with him because he's a Bayesian man. That is what we say when somebody's from Barbados, right? He's a Bayesian man. Um, and his teacher was Abdullah, who was this black Ethiopian Jew who lived in New York and in the early like 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, and who taught Neville. So, all right, exciting! Prayer, the art of believing. Yes, and Joseph Murphy also studied with Abdullah, both he and Neville. All right, have a good night, guys. I will. Oh, Alita says he was one of my grandfather's favorites. I trust me, y'all are gonna fall in love with this dude because he's the business. He is absolutely the business. Okay, this is good. Good. Yay! Okay, Neville Goddard. If you want to get this one, this is called the Neville Reader. It's a collection that Mitch Horowitz put together of or I should say maybe he edited, maybe that's the word, but or edited of Neville's works. But you can also grab it on Amazon, and there are 7 chapters, so we'll do it as a 7-part lesson starting next week. All right. Good night, everybody.